I want this to be easy for you because it really truly is this easy for me. If you're seeing something in your field, in your reality, especially a recurrent pattern, you have got to stop agreeing to being the version of yourself that is experiencing that problem. That's why you're seeing it. The more you fight it, the more you're actually coming into energetic harmony with it, because now you're entertaining it enough to identify it as something that you don't want to deal with. And when something in my life now, all of life, there is no life without pain. Whatever you love will eventually bring you some level of pain, because I think that love is made of the pains and the agonies that we are willing to experience for the pursuit of some type of higher ideal, which is more philosophical and poetical. Of course, I would never advise you to actually stay in a relationship that is causing you great deals of pain, because there's a pattern running. So I have varying alternations in my thoughts and in my philosophy, but what I'm going to make very stupid simple for you, because it really was stupid simple for me. I realized I've been doing this all my life, and I didn't have any formal training. I didn't understand spiritual metaphysics or the law of resonance or this or that or the third or Neville Goddard. I would simply just decide when I was done dealing with something, and it has nothing to do with action. And I thank you for co-creating this moment here with me. I'm an entity named Lucian, and here on Divine Within, we remember the power within, the kingdom within, and that reality bends from where within. Check out the show notes. There are all types of resources there. If you would like my personalized assistance with materializing, not just manifesting, but materializing the life of your highest vision, then that is available to you, along with the Liberation Chronicle, which is the written word of this platform, and Dispatches from the Edge of Obvious, a Spotify exclusive podcast. I was doing this with no formal training, and it doesn't require you to intervene with the other person. And I probably applied this more socially than anywhere else. Decide that you are no longer, and the wording here is key, that you are no longer the version of yourself that is dealing with that issue. You have to understand that in order for us to participate in a certain version of reality, we have to be the version of ourselves that is experiencing that reality. One of my favorite manifestation affirmations is, I am now aware of the version of myself that. Now, that's something that I made up. I'm not saying it's foolproof. I'm not saying it's magic. It's been magic for me, but that's because I'm tuned into the frequency of what that means. So it's not about necessarily saying the right words in the right order, but for me, I am now aware of the version of myself that brings my awareness back to myself as source, and the version of myself implying immediately that there's an infinite amount of realities happening at any given point in time. You are an individualized expression of the all that can be, looking at the all that can be through its own eyes. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there can give you that you don't already have in here. So I am now aware of the version of myself. To me, that just condenses the whole understanding, the whole understanding rather, into one, and allows me to materialize quite quickly, although it's not about time per se, because time is just a reference point between two distances that we have to conceptualize in order to perceive maneuvering about on this 3D plane. Time is not real in the sense that it is an essence of itself. We need time. Time doesn't need us. But I decided to stop dealing with things. I'm going to stop dealing with the version of this person that does X, Y, and Z. And this could be a relational partner. I've seen this, people use this a lot with relational partners successfully, client, staff, coach. It could be a friend. It could be anybody that you think of that is causing you some deal of strain in yourself. And you must always remember to come back to yourself, because you're only seeing in them what you've agreed to within yourself. You've agreed to a version of yourself that is participating in that kind of relationship that is in some way dysfunctional and is bringing you dis-ease inside. So again, write that all down. That's another key takeaway from this. You're only seeing, but we see the echoes, right? The mirror reflections, because you're probably thinking, well, I am aligned and harmonious with the 2.0 new version of self. The old script is done. I'm no longer agreeing to that. Why am I still seeing this thing? Why have I decided to open myself to love and to be available to myself and to be present and to be conscious and to spend time with myself and give myself everything or at least if you want love, that's what you should be doing. I've done all that. Why am I still attracting emotionally unavailable Sue or Tom? It's like, because if that's been, at least my understanding is that if that's been the pattern, that pattern is going to reverberate, it's going to have echoes. And I view those times that if you're whole, centered, love, secure, you know you're perfect, you know you're an individualized expression of the all that is, which means that you are God of your reality. When you know all of that and emotionally unavailable John or Sue comes into the picture, I believe that's the universe. I don't think testing you in terms of like, because you got to pass this test, but is giving you an opportunity to solidify within yourself that I am the version of myself. I don't care what the world offers me. I'm the version of myself that gives myself love, and I will expect and receive nothing less. Because once you come into harmony, once you start entertaining emotionally unavailable Joe or Sue, then you come back into awareness of a version of yourself that is upset you're not getting a reciprocal amount of attention. You're being that version of yourself. You're aware of yourself in that way. Or if you keep having a certain kind of conflict with someone, you have to agree to stop being the version of yourself that is engaging in such conflicts. The other person is just reflecting you back to yourself, which is not for you to blame yourself, but is for you to become aware of the seat of ultimate power that you have in the mirror reflection of that which we call reality. You are the driver, you're the game, you're the programming, you're the code, you're all of it. In effect, there really isn't a you with you being all of it, but you're experiencing what would be the sensation of a version of a you that is individualized and localized, but it's truly just all of consciousness peering back at itself. So you have to decide to stop dealing. I mean, there are just certain things. There have been certain things that have come up in a day job years ago where I just decided it would be a new policy implementation change that would significantly create some type of challenge in my role or duty. And I would just decide that I'm not dealing with that. It's like, no. No, now that doesn't mean I stormed up to the person in charge and told them this is not about what I did out there and told them what I wouldn't have. This wasn't about me complaining and crying and whining to those around me and saying, look at how victimized, look at how terrible it is. They didn't think of how this would impact X, Y, and Z. I just decided that that's not a part of my reality. And lo and behold, sure enough, I was able to maintain my position, even move up in ranks and not deal with that specific thing. And it sounds miraculous because it is. This is all beyond logic. This is all beyond logic. Do you understand that these are ancient practices? And yes, there were sciences that were put in place. If we talk about alchemy, like the science of like even physical alchemy, yeah, sure, but it is the Western's imperative that everything makes scientific sense and that it be on a timeline and that it be measured by A, B, and C. That is a European colonization of thought. Which I mean, I'm in the system. I'm technically, as they would say, quote unquote, educated. I did the whole college thing, and you check the boxes that you think you're supposed to. But that's the Western mind, and the Western mind is not the only mind. The A, B, and C, and that's the human. That's the human conditioning as well, because we are so afraid because we're lacking safety and security in ourselves. We're always grasping on to the next piece of information. I need the right video. I need the right technique. I need there is nothing more right than what you declare is right for yourself in your reality. So you just got to decide to stop dealing with shit from certain people, because what you're doing actually is you're just seeing a reflection of them outwardly, externally. You're seeing a reflection of them that is actually a reflection of you. So you have to decide, you have to start putting boundaries in place. I'm not going to be having conflicts and arguments about X, Y, Z at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's not the version of reality that I'm going to participate in. You have got to start being decisive about what is acceptable in your world. And I'm talking about in your mind, and I'm even talking about verbal declarations. That is what's truly been so transformative for me, is when I don't want to deal with something, it goes away. Now, I'm not saying that means that I get the sidestep lessons or that, every day is just a walk in the park. I'm not saying that, but the significant things, I'm like, this isn't helpful. This isn't teaching me shit. This is a nuisance, and this must be some negative. So I go within. This must be some negative part of myself that I'm still learning something from, and or it's an echo, which means it's a test for me to reassert the validity of this new state of self that I am now affirming. That's it. I'm not, if something is bothering you, stop fighting it. Stop going against it. Stop complaining about it. Stop wishing it was different. You move to a timeline where that thing isn't even happening. And you can do that in your mind, and you do it with the declaration of the state of yourself, because you are the God of your reality. If you don't want to deal with people coming to you with negative news all the time, stop participating in that version of reality. And furthermore, when those people start, when they come to you with such negative news, stop engaging with it. Stop feeding it attention. The more you feed something attention, and here's the thing, attention positively or negatively is still attention. And the way that I define attention is focus plus emotional charge, because you can focus on something but maybe not be emotionally involved or engaged with it. When you're paying attention to something, it's got you. You're in the moment of that feeling, whether you're conscious or not. And I would also define attention as something that's more repetitive. So you got to stop responding to that stuff. You got to stop giving it space in your reality. And again, this is not about high vibes only. The shadow is there. Again, you're seeing the shadow out there that is the shadow and the essence and the darkness of you. So you have to stop tolerating it from yourself. And you have to stop participating in realities that affirm that version of you that is entrenched with all the shit that you don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with something. I'll say, I'm not dealing with that. I'll say, and it's not about saying it to the person or to the situation. It's about saying it to myself and saying it within myself and meaning it within myself and declaring that is the only version of reality that I will participate in. There is no failure. There is no what ifs. There is no, oh, well, if this doesn't work out, it's just I'm just plainly not, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. I've had in the past working day jobs, totally different relationships with some of the higher ups in the company than my peers, because my peers as people, and again, it's all one big reflection, right? But the way that I was perceiving them in my reality were individuals that in their personal lives and their understanding of themselves were victimized, were disempowered, had a lot to complain about, felt like nobody was on their side, felt like they had to carry the weight of the world. So that when they interacted with the higher ups then reflected that truth to them, or their version of that truth to them. And when I interacted, they look at me, they'd be like, well, whose side are you on? I would say, well, there's no sides, because I'm not caught up in whatever it is you're experiencing with that person. I don't experience this with that person. I hear what you're saying. I see perhaps the propensity, the inclination, the possibility that this person is that way. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that that's not my experience of them. And it's in my better interest to, if it's good, leave it be good. But that's because I was in a state of mind where people treat me with respect. I can speak. I'm listened to. Everything's okay. They leave me alone. I do what I need to do. We're good. And that was just, again, that wasn't some deep meditation. That wasn't some trance-induced technique where I manifested a reality where people respect me and listen to me and I can occupy leadership roles and things are fine. That wasn't something it was the person that I decided to be. So this is all about the person that you decide to be and what you allow to reside in your reality. Whatever you're feeding attention, even if you're fighting with it, you're charging it up. You're saying yes to that algorithm. You're like, I want more of this. And it will disappear. Stuff disappears from my life by mysterious means. And I have been, I was going to say the victim, but I've been the recipient, because it's not a victimized thing, but I've been the recipient of many miraculous encounters, strange stuff, beautiful things, eerie things, bizarre things. Because I know that this is a simulation, so I'm not counting on it. The things that we think make sense don't actually make much sense. We just haven't questioned them enough. All of this is nonsensical, is random, is absurd, is strange. Talking to somebody, having a conversation with them, they're not even listening to you. They're waiting to respond. Just on a basic level, how absurd is that? It's all weird. So if you can accept the miracle of life and just know and decide this is done because I said it's done, because I'm not dealing with it. I'm not dealing with emotionally unavailable Tom or Sue. I'm not dealing with that. I don't have space in my life for people that make me feel as though I'm a burden for wanting to share in basic connection with them, especially if it was a connection that initially they mutually agreed upon. So no, the answer is no. It's not about texting them and saying, let me give you a piece of my mind, blah, blah, da, 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 da. It's been X amount of days and this and that and the other. It's having a relationship with yourself that even if emotionally unavailable Tom and Sue come offering you flowers, you're like, I don't take flowers from those people who are emotionally unavailable. Now, nobody's actually offering you flowers. What I meant by that is like, we're not taking offerings, meaning, we're not taking petitions. We're not taking applications. We're not taking bids from people that are emotionally unavailable, because I said in my reality, I'm not dealing with that. Now, you can't ever really know who and how somebody is until you're dealing with them. So I'm not saying it's like a preliminary test. I'm just saying that once it's revealed to you that this is the same pattern playing over and over and over again, yet you've decided that you're outside of that pattern, you have the choice to determine for yourself, will I go back and occupy the version of myself and become aware of the version of myself that is in an emotionally unavailable relationship? Or will I say, damn the relationship, I don't need emotionally unavailable reflections of myself. I'm here for the available reflection for myself, so I will be here in the available reflection, in the emotionally available version of myself, until, and there is no time because it's all happening now, but eventually knowing that reality will render and materialize the version of yourself that is harmonized and is in alignment with the version that you have declared yourself to be. But yes, there will be echoes. But if you're accepting offerings from that old script and that old version of self, then what you're doing is reinforcing, you're putting more floor joints. I don't know why I said floor joints. I don't even know what a floor joint is. I don't know where that came from. But in some way, you're securing your identity to that version of yourself that is participating in an unfulfilling relationship. It doesn't have to be about emotional unavailability at all. Whatever it is that you're dealing with out there, you can simply just decide to stop participating in that. Stop participating in the version of yourself that is always having trouble with paying the bills. You will not be able to see what you are unaware of, because in order for reality, in order for the external, the 3D, the hologram, the illusion, the dream, in order for any of that out there to render for you what you think is the material that is going to bring you peace, love, joy, abundance, happiness, freedom, that which you're seeking, if you're not aware of the essence and the substance of what you're seeking out there, you will not find the substance out there, because you will only see what you're already aware of. You have to have a mental conceptualization and an embodied conceptualization of that which you desire to see. To see it, what you're seeing is the illusion. There is nothing out there. There's no lifeboat out there. There are things that make life materially more easy, for sure. Yes, but that starts in here. If you think that there's never enough money, I've met people making $300,000, $400,000 a year. It's not enough money. There's never enough money. Maybe even is in a similar position where they're pulling out of their savings, or maybe don't have much savings. Same as somebody who maybe is making $30,000 or $40,000 a year. I mean, I've run into that situation. So it's a state of mind and has nothing to do with the material. It has nothing to do with the material. Now, somebody is probably saying, well, I'd rather be broke with $300,000 than be broke with $30,000. And like, sure, yes, there are certain comforts. But what I'm saying on a deeper level is, what the fuck good is it to make $300,000 if you still feel broke? Like, what is the point of that? Like, you'd be broke with more stuff. You're still unfulfilled and you're still complaining about money. You were complaining about money before the $300,000. So what does the number then really matter? If we're talking about embodiment, if we're talking about who you are, not what it looks like to other people, not the stuff out there, not how you want to see yourself, not what you choose to believe, but who you actually are. If who you actually are is someone who doesn't have enough, that can extend into infinity. That state of mind does not have a dollar amount. But rounding out this message, you have to decide. I do it all the time. I'm not dealing with that. I ain't dealing with it. I'll say it like that. It's not fancy. There's no spell. There's no incantation. I just decided myself that's not a part of what I will learn the lesson. I will be present for what is necessary. But beyond that, no. You have to say no and mean it within yourself. My aim, I am an entity named Lucian, and I do appreciate you co-creating this moment here with me. Make sure to share this with somebody who is having trouble setting boundaries, not only with other people, but within themselves, because we're not out here blaming anybody. We're coming back to source to realize that we were empowered all along. We were already free. That's what we're here to do. So as I said, there's lots of stuff in the show notes. Check out the Heaven on Earth Source Codex. this came from, each one of the transmissions comes from the CODEX that I'm trying to think of. This would probably be principle 4, power placement, always principle 1, remembering that you are source consciousness through positioning, and probably 5 with unconditional allowance are the principles of the Heaven on Earth Source Codex that these transmissions, at least this one today, come from whence. So it's a real-time reality creation system. It's an anti-system system. It's really just principles that if you were to, I was going to say do the principles, but that if you were to conceptualize the principles in a successive level, understanding that they all fit together in order to be the version of yourself that has that which you desire, you will be living your heaven on earth. That's what I maintain. That's the postulation. So all that, keep it tuned till next time. Remember to be good to yourselves and others, because everybody should see a version of you